Most of us have got an atrocious relationship with failure. Really, when you think about failure, it's an integral part of success, but of course we don't handle it too well because it isn't a lot of fun. And whoever woke up in the morning and said to themselves, I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of failures today because someday down the track that's going to make me a success. So what we do with failure, that is actually the problem, is what we do is we internalize it. Rather than say this thing failed, rather than say this project didn't work, rather than say, we didn't have the resources or whatever, what we do is we drag the poor result inside and internalize it, and I become the failure. So I become the failure. It didn't work because I this. It didn't work because I the other. We internalize it, and the failure is us, rather than the failure is just something that failed to work. Failure itself is vital to us succeeding. If you think about how you learnt to walk, basically you had a go, fell over, had a go, fell over, and as long as you kept having a go and falling over, you get to walk. Learning to touch type is exactly the same process. You'd go to type some words that have meaning to you, but it's gobbledygook on the screen, so you have another go and you have another go, and as long as you keep going, you can fail your way to success. But rarely do we see it from that perception, and given the choice, anybody would rather fill their day with success than fill their day with failure. The problem with internalizing failure, the problem with wearing failure, is that what we do is we turn it into shame and guilt and remorse. And so what bothers us is that not only am I the failure, but I shouldn't be. That it means something along the lines of me being fundamentally flawed. And so my failures get to be skeletons in my closet that I don't want to tell you about because I'm ashamed of them. Now, it's me who's making up the shame. You would probably love to hear the stories because they're entertaining, and you might even learn something from them yourself. But essentially, I'm not going to share them with you because I'm so ashamed or guilty or remorseful about what I said or what I did. I'm worried that it's going to look like I was careless or I wasn't thinking or I was clumsy, that I'm not going to share them, and because I don't share them, they get to live in the closet and control my life, because now I'm going to avoid anything that looks like it might produce another skeleton, or another skeleton that has to be hidden in the closet with a great degree of disguise to make sure we don't find out about it. What that eventually means is that sooner or later we get sentenced to the idea that the way to get out of all of this is to earn my own approval, or to at least earn the approval of others, is I'm going to get myself onto the approval by achievement stairway. And it looks just like a stairway. You see, when you're 3 years old or 5 years old and you can successfully spell cat and you get a pat on the head, that's just great. That's approval. It feels way better than no approval, right? But it's not love, it's not nurturing, and it's not being cradled in the arms of someone who truly values you. It's just a pat on the head. We mistake it for the real McCoy and go, well, that's good, let's get some more. The trouble is you don't get some more for spelling cat again, you've got to spell a more complex word. And if you understand that concept, you'll understand why your next car needs to be better than the one you've got at the moment. The next house needs to be bigger, the next job needs to pay more money, the escalating series of goals and targets just actually never ends, until one day, towards the end of our life, we start to come to our senses and go, you know what? This house is too big for me to successfully clean. By the time I've got it cleaned, from one end to the other, I've got to go back to the beginning and start again. And we think, maybe I'll downsize. And in the act of downsizing, we start to get rid of other stuff that we don't need, that we accumulated along the way because it was a symbol, at least to us, of success and the fact that we're making progress. Basically, what this means is at a deep level, we don't trust ourselves. We trust the system that says you should be more, you should do more, you should have more. And if you be more, do more, and have more, you'll be happier. You won't. You'll actually be busier. You'll own more stuff you've got to protect, and you'll feel like you're busy and productive, and that's actually a misnomer. So be more, do more, and have more is not actually a solution to this problem, but it's the one that most people tackle. What do we need to do? Well, suit yourself about how much stuff you own and where you go and how big your bank accounts are, all those sort of things. The reality is happiness and in fact deeper than happiness is satisfaction, fulfillment and contentment, come from restoring self-trust. And self-trust is something that you'll give to yourself one day when you just decide that you're going to do it. Self-trust is a decision. It's a matter of saying, okay, I'm going to back myself. I'm going to approve of myself. And the way that we approve ourselves is we forgive ourselves for all those skeletons in the closet. That means if you need to, bring them out, show them to everybody. Everybody will be bored shitless, but you know, what you can do is get them out there, and that way they're not controlling your life anymore. Or instead of getting them out and showing to everyone, you can just set fire to the cupboard. You know, you could let them go. I'm not saying that they don't exist. You could just let them go so that they don't control your thoughts, they don't control your feelings, they don't control your actions. And that way you could do what it is that you truly want to do. And when you do what you want to do, you're backing yourself. So self-acceptance is a version of self-love. And the way that we do that is we decide to back ourselves, warts and all. We accept ourselves, warts and all. There's no need to get rid of all the warts. You don't have to stop all those bad habits, you know, biting your fingernails or whatever it is that you hold against yourself. You could accept yourself just as you are. And that would change your relationship with failure, and that would change your relationship with happiness.